that passage to talk a little bit about delving into the emotions of our characters in historical fiction. When I began researching, I had heard the story my entire life of my great-great-grandfather, the blacksmith. And I was a 20th century girl who knew absolutely nothing about blacksmithing. So how would I figure out what a day was like? How would I know what he did on the job, and how would I know what that felt like to do that work? And I thought it would be easy. I thought I could get books on blacksmithing and study the books read how it was done and figure that out. But when it came time to read those books, they made no sense to me at all. I hadn't seen it ever in my life. And in historical fiction, when you're writing things, you often haven't seen how to churn milk or how to herd sheep or whatever it is that you're trying to describe. So how do you go about tapping into the emotions and describing it? But one of the first things that you can do is to try it out yourself. Now, maybe you don't want to do this with skydiving. Maybe that's going a little bit far. But one of my first writing classes that I took, Robert Farino said, somebody said to him, I have a dancing scene, but I just don't know how to describe it. And he goes, take a dance class. So that is actually a way to do it. But some people are not able to actually do anything. And I use as an example on this the author Lauren Hillenbrand. She wrote Seabiscuit and Unbroken, and those are just really, really powerful books that she wrote from her bed because she has an illness and she can't even leave her room. So how did she manage to tap into those incredible scenes? And that's where I thought about how she does it. I didn't call her and ask her, but I imagine, for example, Louis Zamperini is one of the characters that she wrote a whole book about in Unbroken. And she never met him. She had never yet met him, I think on his 90th birthday or whatever that was. And I thought, how could that be? And then I realized she must have interviewed him on the phone for hours and hours and asked the right questions. So one way to do this is to talk to somebody who does do something that you're trying to describe and tap into the emotions of, and you're going to ask, how does it feel? But you're also going to ask, what did it smell like? What did it sound like? What did it taste like? You're going to want to ask all the 5 senses questions so that you can get a better idea and bring it more three-dimensionally to life on the page. Another way to do it is by associations. So maybe I've never blacksmithed, but I've been a beginner at something. I've been a beginner at, my brothers backpacked all the time when I was growing up, and I never had the chance to backpack. And so there was an opportunity for me to go to a backpacking trip that was kind of a school, and it was physically demanding, like I imagine blacksmithing would be, and I was a complete novice that didn't have a clue what I was doing. And if I could get back into that feeling and what that felt like, and things I thought to myself, like everybody else seems to know what they're doing, how, whatever emotions I felt, that's one way to do it, to tap your emotions, just by transferring them into, transplanting them into any other scene that you have experienced and bringing them alive. When it came to me and blacksmithing, I went one step farther. I was browsing the internet and I found the Northwest Blacksmithing Association, which is some 500 strong. I was telling people at the beginning of the session here. And I saw that there was a 4-day beginning blacksmithing class being offered in White Salmon, Washington. And it was from 8:30 in the morning till 4:30 at night, 4 days in a row. And it was called Old West Forge. And I thought, oh, I'll do it. And so I actually went down and blacksmithed for 4 days, which was only the beginning. But from that adventure, I would have to say, as writers, We don't always have to do it from our desktops. We can have adventures and go out and really experience things. And by doing that, we not only tap into what our characters experienced, but we see, well, for me, I actually, with that and with the things that the teacher was telling me, I saw metaphors about metal and metal crafting that could become powerful components of a book. So those are my, that's it. Thank you.